right now. This is crazy. Well, I mean, whatever. Let's do it again. Crazy, insane, talking shit, getting clicks. It's we Wednesday. Let the children sing. And we live. And this is a little bit of our show. We're going to talk about breakfast. It's $1 billion hustle. Oh, I know you've seen this around the nets. Keep it going. Gorillaverse, man. We went and seen Sinners. First 100 days. First 100 days. That's what we're going to talk about that as well. Yo, Saquon was hanging out with President Trump, and there has been mixed reactions about it, so much so that I think we can have a good chit chat. And yo, I'm telling you, this is what we got. This is what we have. This is what I'm doing this evening, and I'm your host, Mo, 3 times. If you heard that little banging sound, that was my chancla hitting the floor. Ramid was good. What's good, JumpOut gang?
Many people know them as the JumpOut boys in their city.
Word. That's great. That's great that you saw it. It's awesome that you saw it because we was watching it too, Ra. And it was a pretty good movie. You know, I am a movie fanatic. And, I mean, it was a very good movie. It was a very good movie. There's, good things and bad things. But for the most part, I believe that movie's gotten like a 9.8 on Rotten Tomatoes or 98%, something crazy. And it's well-deserved. Well-deserved. Now, Ramid. Oh, we'll talk about that a little bit. I gotta stick to the format. Gonna get me thrown off my square. All right, let me get the live chat in here so we can see what is going on. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good to go. There he is. There he is. You know what I should do, though, right? This is what I should do. Gotta remind everybody that we're getting down. What's going on? Got to share it out with the group. Let me share it out. So there's been some stuff going around, and I would like to talk about it. And I think that I have to talk about it because there's some stuff going around. And with that stuff going around, I'm going to want to talk about it. If you understand what I'm saying right now, let the children sing. I'm just stalling. Oh, you know what I was just watching on Max? I was watching, it's a Twitter documentary. So it's on a documentary on the creation of Twitter, with all the key principles that, was out there getting their Twitters on, that created Twitter, Jack Dorsey and the lot. And they were just talking about how everything got started. And so far, got a playback error right now. Oh, there we go. Amazing. All right, I got that paused. Phone lines are on, so you can call in. The weather is beautiful outside. Like beautiful. Like beautiful. There we go. All right. And seriously, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I know that if I just keep running my mouth and not get anywhere, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere. All right. So basically tonight, I am definitely going to be. We're going to ask. We're going to ask the question: 100 men, could they beat one gorilla and walk out realizing the gorilla isn't just strong? It's probably going to be a little strategic. I think. But to really start off, let's start with a question. Okay. I think it's best that we start with a question. And the question I would like to ask is, do you think, like, it's dividing barbershops, okay? Like, do you think that 100 men could take out a single silver back gorilla? That's my question. Do you think it is possible for one man, I'm sorry, 100 men, I gave you the zero, however the screen is up, 100 men, can they defeat a gorilla? And it's causing controversy all over these interwebs. Let me show you some things here. Let me show you something. If I can find my screen. All right. So first of all, boom, I'm gonna bring this up here. All right. 100 men versus one gorilla. Okay. 100 men. 1 man versus 100 gorillas. I am twisting it up. And this is where it came from here. I mean, it is an age-old internet question, but it has been revised by this man and revived by this man, Dream Chasing Mike. He said, I think 100 N-words. This is not for kids. Don't worry, it's not for kids, but the language can be a little salty. I think 100 could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated and to the like everybody's got to be all in. This man is saying, let me bring you up. You hear him. You hear what he is saying here. You see what he is saying here. One gorilla can beat up 100 guys. That's what I'm thinking. But he's saying that he thinks that 100 guys working together can defeat one gorilla. And you know what? I kind of think that he was correct. I've been going back and forth on this. So I went to Reddit, which is a great place to figure this stuff out like this. And people did a simulation of what it would be like. Let's check it out. I haven't seen this one, so I saw one earlier, but I haven't seen this one. So let's just check it out real quick. Is it possible? Yo, look at this guy. He's simulation of gorilla fighting 100 guys. This gorilla is not getting tired. Let me know. Ramid says no. Ramid, you say no? All right. I'll end that right there. However, let me tell you what. Let's take a step back. I believe somebody wrote like an essay about this. Gorilla. He says, all right. This is by Who Would Win Secure Wolverine 7502. All right, he says, all right, I have seen this debate on TikTok for a while, and all I can say is the 100 humans have this definitely. This is his opinion. All right, this is not the opinion of the show. You have an opinion, 313-825-5557. You can call in. But he says he's seen this debate on TikTok for a minute, and he said, all I can say is 100 humans have this definitely. He says, if I can set the stage for the non-believers on this topic, let me explain. And I think that's what we should do. Let him explain, and I'll read. So 100 men. Let's get the physical attributes down first. The age of these men are 26 to 32. He's setting the stage here. 26 to 32. All 100 men have a baseline level of athleticism. They all played a varsity sport and were star players for their high school, either football, basketball, soccer, tennis, rowing, etc., etc. How about table tennis? Huh? So they have done the proportional workouts and training needed for their respective sport. Now, let's say 50 of them went on to also play in college. He's getting deep here. There was no pre-read here, forgive me. They went also play in college as a role player, but did the proportional training required to compete all 4 years. Now, the other 50 didn't play college sports, but are working labor jobs that give you everyday dad type strength, construction and the sort. And the guys who play college sports can work office jobs, but still have the body of someone who clearly was a beast in whatever sport they said they played. These men are not alcoholics nor drug addicts. Their health is maintained for the most part. That is the physical attributes of the 100 men I want y'all to imagine. Now let's talk about the mentality. Mind, body, spirit. I hear people say no one will want to go first. To that I say that we had men running head on into explosion and gunfire during wars. Trench warfare was hell on earth. You're in a ditch for weeks with your comrade who knew since day one of training, just for him to peek and get his head blown off. And they still push forward. This mentality of willingness to die for a cause is insane. Omaha Beach had men already set up with machine guns mowing down your entire squad, and yet they still advanced. This courage is what these 100 men need. The mentality, the courage, the heart. So this is the mentality that they're having going in battle. All right. So to begin, we have 100 men that are physically fit and have the Mamba mentality, according to this guy. This is who is going after this one gorilla. All right, now he has a plan. He has a plan. The plan is 10 waves of 10 men. The first 3 waves go with the objective to jab the eyes out. 30 men, all between the weights of 160 to 280 pounds, throwing themselves full speed at the gorilla with the goal of jabbing the eyes clear out. I will be generous and say the gorilla kills all 30 men. However, the objective is completed and they have managed to jab the eyes out. Now we play the long game, which humans have clearly dominated. He's cooking here, I think. He said, let the gorilla rage and tire out. 70 men are left. They have spent no energy and are all ready. A blind gorilla has to rely on its senses. Now 2 sets of 10 to 15 men hold down each arm. 10-15 can lift small cars. I am positive this group can hold down and at least grip and become dead weight to the point where the gorilla is immobile. We grab the legs and pin it down completely. Face up preferably. This is what he's saying. It's coming out of my mouth, but these are his words. Preferably face up. Then everyone throws the flying knees at the skull, at the genitalia. Rage or not, someone is going to stick their hand in the eye holes and scramble everything they can. And at best, I'll say the blind gorilla takes out an additional 15 people, leaving 65 left. Now, he did the math wrong because we already lost 30 men in the first 3 waves. Then we lost 15. That's 45 men total, leaving 55 men left. But still, we got 55 men to play around with right now, according to this guy. What do you guys think? Let me know. Down there, scrolling is our call-in line, 313-825-5557. There's a caller. Caller, Mo 3 times in the building. Thanks for calling. Question is, do you think, I just read this plan out, do you think 100 men can take down one gorilla? Hello?
Hello, Mo 3 times.
Oh, look who we got here! I know that voice. I know that voice. Mainline is in the house. Let's go.
Hey, just Mainline is on the line 3 times, and I'm saying this at the risk of being banned from your program. But I think we've already had an indication that a man could be the gorilla, you know. And when you said that, and I've heard that earlier in the week, and I thought about what a ridiculous question to ask, simply because we've already had proof that it can be done. And Rodney King was the example. And in Los Angeles riots, they when they was beating Rodney King down, and that's what they was calling gorillas in the mist. So we know it could be done.
Spicy.
Just my opinion, you know.
You're not disappointing. You are not disappointing, sir. Go ahead. Hold on.
Hey.
Talking shit, getting clicks. Welcome back. All right, so Mainline is saying that, listen, it's possible. I don't know, Rodney King, how many officers was it, like 12? It was like 12, 15 of them? It was a lot.
Well, the phenomenal thing was he didn't even have a silver back. So how do you explain that?
No, he did have a Jerry curl and some PCP in the system, so I know it kind of equals out. It might equal out a little bit.
I was just having fun with you, Mo. I just wanted to holler at you. Because just when I hear people, pose these questions like this, it's only one thing that comes to mind, and I say these guys just intellectually masturbating, and that's all it is.
That's all it is.
But anyway, that's it. But I'll be listening, man. I'll be listening. Thanks for the time.
Oh, thanks for calling in. Peace.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Mainline. Let the children sing for him. Oh, we got horns. Anybody? Gorilla versus the man? The man versus the gorilla? Let me know. Ramit says no. Says it's impossible. We already saw the predictive video of what would happen. And that gorilla was mobbing dudes. Just mobbing them. Yo, Mainline does make a point. This has been a age-old internet question. And it has been circulating around the internet, and now it is back. It is back. Like, what's going on with the gorilla? What is going on with the gorilla? No Harambe jokes. Rest in peace. You guys watch Sinners? Did you? Yeah. Yeah, should I give you guys another week? Because I hate spoilers. And I really want to talk about this, and I want to talk about and I don't want to discuss it in a vague way. But I'm throwing this up here. It was a movie kind of based like I thought it was. Ryan Coogler, who created Fruitvale Station, Black Panther 2, he's a black director. And he's working with Michael B. Jordan again from Fruitvale and from Black Panther and also Creed. He did Creed. And they came together, him and these actors and actresses, to create a movie called Sinners. It is an original piece, and everybody is harping on that it's an original piece. And it is. But when I saw the trailers, being the movie film buff that I am, I got twinges of that like Dusk to Dawn. I was like, yo, I'm gonna walk into like a Dusk Till Dawn type of moment. If you guys remember, it's Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney movie back with Salma Hayek. Insane. I recommend a watch. I recommend a watch if you're into those type of vampire films, or if you're into Tarantino, you haven't seen it. But this movie came out. It is heavy on the black influence on culture. It brings in other cultures, and it's all surrounding 1930s, the world of a 1930s Mississippi Delta, and basically some brothers that leave the state and come back to try to cash in, basically. And then, of course, I think by now we all know that there's a theme to vampires in it. But Ryan Coogler has a knack for not only talking about blackness and what it is to be black in America, but he also involves other cultures that have had these gifts of joy and struggle alongside black Americans, and this movie is no less that he does that. And it was very well done, I thought. Honestly, if my only drawback to it was, I'm saying that maybe if he cut 30 minutes from it, we would have probably still got the message, and we could have still still been entertained. I thought it dragged on just a little bit too long, but usually the great movies do, and usually on the second, third, fourth, fifth watches, you're not even going to recognize it. Originally, Django Unchained is one of my top 10 movies, and I know some people it's like hit or miss for some people. Some people love it, some people just hate it, some people just hate the idea of it. But that's one of the long movies. But when you're watching it, it does not feel long. Sinners in a movie theater to me felt long. Django Unchained felt long to me in movie theaters, but I'm pretty sure when I'm in the house kicking around watching it, it's not going to feel as long. Second watch. My personal thing. So if you kind of watch like me and get stuck in there, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into it, but I will say this is something I want to talk about. Probably let's do it next. We'll do it next month. We can talk about it. Sorry, I already spent it now. Now we're going to talk about this. I know this is what some of you guys are here for. I know. 100 days. 100 days. Nope. Can you believe it? We're just getting to 100. It feels like 10 years already. 10 years. You know, what happens, when a man who tried to overturn an election gets handed the keys again? What happens 100 days after that? I think you should grab your blood pressure meds, maybe a copy of the Constitution, because the first few months of Trump's second term haven't just been a rerun. It's kind of like a speed run through every authoritarian fantasy he never got to live out in the first term. I mean, from handing Elon Musk a federal agency like it's a Tesla giveaway, to deporting parents and forgetting the toddler like she was carry-on luggage. The Trump administration has wasted no time in making chaos look like policy, honestly. And this isn't about partisanship. It is not about being partisan or the partisanship. It's about power and the abuse of that power. Maybe the consolidation of power as well. Maybe. I think it's jaw-dropping speed at which these guardrails of democracy have been bulldozed over these last 100 days. So what you're about to hear, it isn't a fiction. I don't do that. We started originally talking politics here because there was so much misinformation out in the world. It was frustrating. So I like to consolidate it, bring it back here, and tell you fact from fiction. But this is not satire, kind of. But it's also a timeline of real actions. These are real policies and real scandals that are shaping the country right now. And I know. I bought them receipts. Let's drink some. Let's get started in January. Come on, let's do a recap of these 100 days. The Trump power grab begins with the inauguration. Look at that. Look at this picture. Look at Melania's face. She looks The cut of her jib does not look favorable to Donald Trump. All right. So January 20th, 2025, indoors, Donald Trump is sworn in. And he begins to drop 200 plus executive orders like they're effing mixtapes. And then he goes on to pardon insurrectionists, right? And then he floats a third term out there like the Constitution has never existed at all. But it's deeper than headlines. I mean, those 200 plus orders weren't just political noise. They were a roadmap for reshaping the federal government. Dismantling climate regulations, slashing funding to public agencies, resurrecting a long dead policies like loyalty screenings for civil servants. Yeah, loyalty screenings are back for civil servants. And then we got the third term talk, not just a one-off, because he doubled down on Truth Social and held rallies, raising alarms among constitutional scholars. This is January. Then we get his cabinet, all-star team of yes men. J.D. Vance, Pistol Pete Headchef, the DUI hire. That's what they say. They say it so much. It's kind of. Linda McMahon. Elon Musk got a desk. Yo, honestly, these people, this is not an administration. And it's definitely not a cabinet. It's more like a fan club. But this fan club has top secret clearances. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you this too. Every major appointment had a clear through line. And it was loyalty first, experience second, if at all. Right? Let's go back. J.D. Vance. Yeah. Rise of VP. Paved by his MAGA reinvention. He was a never Trumper. MAGA reinvented. We can talk about RFK Jr., with the promoting vaccine conspiracies. But he's now overseeing national health policy. We can go back and talk about Pete Hegseth, a Fox News talking head. But he's now running the Pentagon. And then Linda McMahon, who ran WWE and small business outreach under Trump 1.0, she's now steers what's left of federal education. Right? Got Elon. And that's cool because in January we also got Doge. And we had to understand, is it Doge or it's the dictator? Is he the dictator's new toy? Is it the dictator? And this is not a doctored up picture at all of Donald Trump. And that man is basting himself. Like, I want to just tell him, no, put it down. Like, you're not done yet. But yeah. Elon Musk handed reins. Bureaucracy meets Twitter thread energy, The more you gave Musk sweeping access to federal tech infrastructure, he had access to databases. He had contracting authority. Public transparency watchdogs that flagged the whole entire setup as dangerously opaque. That's like the opposite of transparent. And a lot of Democrats argued that Doge was a shadow operation built to sideline traditional agency power structures. And Musk, for his part, man, he promised to make the government move at the speed of innovation. And critics say it now moves at the speed of a meme stock crash. I mean, you can catch this news in The Guardian. I'll be reading. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. You see this? First of all, let me put this. This is an OPM email to a government worker. Are you guys looking at that Outlook? For people who still use Outlook, does this look like Outlook that was used in does this look like Outlook of the last 10 years? No. No. It isn't. It does a job though. I mean, it was able to send this email. Because they were sending the letters of what you did last week. And this is what those emails look like. Reply with 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachment. I mean, I wish that was in the footnotes of those Signal apps. But yeah, we had the mass firings. Trump acts like 17 inspector generals and more. And then a judge later say, yo, no, that's BS. You got to bring some of those back. And I mean, I would guess that the checks and balances are making comebacks. I would guess, but I'm not sure. But the firings were part of a Schedule F reboot, Trump's executive order from his first term that allows him to reclassify tens of thousands of federal employees as at-will workers. So he basically turned civil service into MAGA's HR department. And when Merit Systems Protection Board chair, her name is Kathy Harris, was fired and sued the courts sided with her, calling the action legally deficient and politically motivated. Hi, my name is... Everybody does his voice so good. Hi, name is RFK Jr. I can't. He wouldn't talk like that. Anyway, yeah. RFK helped to gut this anti-science overhaul. The CDC, the NIH. Gut it. Yeah, replaces the pandemic preparedness vibes that we used to have, right? I mean, it's giving leeches and essential oils. RFK Jr. dismantled programs aimed at tracking infectious diseases. He slashed programs aimed at promoting vaccine safety. And in their place, you know what he put? He said the Administration for a Healthy America. And it's a new office, critics say it's designed to pander to wellness influence and anti-vaxxers. And public health officials resigned in protest, warning that it leaves America more vulnerable to outbreaks and undermines trust in science. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In March, come on, catch up with me. This DEI thing feels like 2 years ago, right? Equal opportunity orders revoked. DEI nuked. Federal diversity officers shown the door. It's like Jim Crow, but with Wi-Fi. The administration tore down decades of anti-discrimination protections in federal hiring and in contracting, and all agencies were ordered to remove any reference to DEI from job descriptions and grant programs. Contractors with DEI compliance clauses terminated. Lawsuits were filed. NAACP, the ACLU said it amounted to a federally sanctioned rollback of civil rights. The NAA and the ACU classified this as it amounted to federally sanctioned rollbacks of civil rights. And if you're rolling back civil rights, it would expose what was there before civil rights. And anybody know what was there before civil rights? Anybody in the chat want to tell me? Jim Crow? These children are singing with me. Not with what I'm saying, but because I had to say it to let you know. And then in March, we can go with the rebooting family jailing policies. Detention centers activated. This is what we've been talking over the last couple of weeks. Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia. TPS stripped from 600,000 Venezuelans. Cuban parole program axed. Welcome to Ice Cold America. Emphasis on Ice Cold America. And this playbook is familiar. This time, I'm going to say it's a little bit harsher, and it's because Trump will reverse Biden era migrant asylum reforms, bringing back family detentions and expelling migrants under the old Title 42 rationale. Remember, kids in cages, public health, be damned. Venezuelan, Haitian, Cuban communities were hit the hardest. Faith groups and human rights orgs called it a humanitarian betrayal. Also in March, the U.S. accused of abduction after a toddler is left behind in deportation. That's right. Child was separated from deported parents. Parents deported, and their toddler was left behind in the U.S. And guess where? Foster care. Venezuela called it a kidnapping, but don't worry because what's her name? The blonde. That's the voice. Clang, 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 clang. Starts with a K, K, K. Damn, what's her name? K. I don't know, but America's gonna. They just call it immigration reform, but it's not. It's kidnapping. But check this out. ICE deported a couple back to Venezuela, but somehow left their 2-year-old daughter behind in a New York foster home. The administration brushed it off as a custodial. They literally called it a custodial oversight. Venezuela, on the other hand, said, yo, that's a human rights violation. And they filed a complaint with the UN. Now, there's been talk lately about, all right, Trump does not want to follow laws or whatever. And the judges are saying this, like, how can they enforce these laws? And then people are saying that, listen, basically the military wing of the judicial department would be the United States Marshal Service. Those are the guys that came down. When you see there's the men walking side by side with little Ruby Bridges so she can get to school safely. The little girl that was, ending segregation in her neck of the woods. Those men with those are marshals, right? And then we got Signalgate. We did that. Hedgeseth, Vance again, and others spilled the secrets in the Signal chat, then accidentally added a journalist, and then national security, by the way, of group chat. And this wasn't some minor leak. They discussed military strikes in Yemen. Pete Hedgeseth added journalist Jeffrey Goldberg by mistake. They found it was Pete Hedgeseth that added the journalist. Intelligence veterans called it a gross negligence. I am literally an military intelligence veteran. And I never said, I might have said gross negligence, but I know I said a lot more than that. Lawmakers called for the hearings. We saw it, and Trump called it fake news. That's what he does. Are we even counting? Never mind. We're not going to. Oh, hold on. But while we're selling stuff, I'm going to sell you this Trump coin. Because this is another one of those Trump scandals. The POTUS pitched crypto while in office, right? Ethics concerns. The money sign Trump coin is launched while Trump still sits in Oval Office. Oh, when the grift literally becomes currency. Federal ethics watchdogs warned about the president's endorsement of a personal cryptocurrency while in office. They said it represents an unprecedented merger of public power with private gain. But Trump fans bought it anyway. They bought it because apparently, nothing screams populism like blockchain. What is blockchain? But that's cool because earlier in March, I skipped to April, but I forgot earlier in March. He was on the front of the White House lawn, hawking Teslas. He had the White House lawn set up like a Tesla showroom, and then gave Elon like a half-hour press conference to sell Teslas. And this all happened because the people were backlashing. Government workers were getting fired, agencies were getting gutted, And the people responded by they stopped buying Teslas, and then some people did go on what I would call violent rampages of burning down Teslas at Tesla dealerships and vandalizing Teslas, which is totally wrong. But I think at one point, like the company was down like 70% or something like that. Don't quote me. But Tesla was down bad enough that we haven't really heard from Elon in weeks. Not only that, like the majority of the national media was like, Elon's going to go away. He's going to take a break. He was a special government employee, which meant he could only work like 120 days out of the year, out of the entire 4 years. He could only work like 120 days. So he had to go. He had to leave anyway. I guess he was happy to go back. Now, the courts blocked Trump's push to gut DEI in schools. Okay. Judges have been slamming the attacks on schools and voting rights. Okay, so the Trump's push to gut DEI in schools and voter suppression schemes, it turns out the Constitution still has a little bit of fight left in it. You know, federal courts blocked attempts to withhold school funding from districts with DEI programs, and simultaneously, there was a lot of effort to required the proof of citizenship to register to vote. And a lot of those were declared unconstitutional. So for now, the rule of law holds, but barely. A thin thread. Right? And then the courts are also firing back because they had to smack down Trump's global media muzzle move. The global media muzzle move. The global media muzzle move. Right? Basically, this funding restored to Radio Liberty. Now, Trump tried to defund international broadcasters, and the court made him pay up. Even propaganda has legal limits, people. I mean, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty had its funding slashed until a federal judge ordered full restoration, citing First Amendment protections and international diplomacy obligations. Oh my goodness. Three branches. Listen, we got three branches of government. All right. So the Republicans, which are, I'm not even going to call them Republicans anymore. The MAGA coalition now has a majority in the House and in the Senate. So whatever the MAGA administration wants to accomplish, they can get it from the executive and now the legislative branches. But hold on, what really made me start when we were talking politics, I was like, we started talking about politics. What really made me start talking about this is because my concern has always been foremost our judicial system. I understand the power of the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court gets to dictate what the rule of law of the land is, and they also have to uphold the Constitution. And I've been upset since Obama allowed his pick to be stolen, and then I was upset when the Republicans turned to. Then they tried to do what Obama was doing, and Obama couldn't do it, but they were able to do it, which is get another Supreme Court justice in when the president had like less than a year left in office. I believe Obama was trying to get Merrick Garland in there. But that didn't work out. Mitch McConnell made sure. Mitch McConnell is going to be one of the goats for the Republicans. And that isn't the goat way, both good and bad. Right? So, luckily, the judges are still conscious. Okay? But, most importantly, and this is news of today, I have been seeing experts upon experts say that democracy is on life support. This is something that I felt already. But when expert after expert is coming out and they are talking with a sense of anxiety, perhaps fear, you know, that's crazy. Because what I'm seeing is like the courts and for some affect the media. And I don't think they're doing the best job that they can be doing, because obviously the media has fear of Donald Trump, and we can talk about the meeting where he tells the journalist that, hey, like you're supposed to be with me. You know, like the courts and media, they're trying CPR on our democracy, and Trump is grabbing at the cords, trying to pull the plug, and he has a pillow in his hand. So, in a lot of op-eds that I've seen, a lot of think tanks are coming out and saying this. When you're listening to these congressional hearings, when you're listening to political analysts on these news, these airwaves, when they're beginning to warn the U.S. has already entered a soft autocracy, I mean, something's going on. I mean, and they don't need to say it because we already see that Trump has an open contempt for court orders. He has an open contempt for press freedom and civil dissent. They're not even fringe threats. They're now administration norms. Ladies and gentlemen, that's that bullshit. And that's Trump's 100 days. But right now, I'm going to hit the techno. And we'll keep the show rolling. We heard Mainline. He was back. And no, you were not banned. I kept checking. I was like, no, he's not banned. Like, I don't see anybody blocked or here or anything like that. So we got calls from him. But 313-825-5557. So far, we already talked about. Let's take it to the show. So far, we talked about Trump's 100 days. We talked about a little bit about sinners, and we talked about the man versus gorilla. 100 men versus one gorilla. Call in. Let us know how you feel. 313-825-5557. Yo, and by the way, I would be remiss. I'm always remiss. Let me take you to the site. Yep. Were you still trying? This is the site. You guys see it? Show it. Talking shit, getting clicks. We got our own website. It's called Talking Getting USA. You see that up there? TalkingGettingUSA.com. We got a shop. You hit that button, takes you to the shop. We got 2 collections in there. I keep forgetting to put the t-shirts out. The t-shirts are spec'd up, and I'll just add them. I'll add them this weekend. And actually, if you're on the homepage of the site, you can go to shop or you can go to shows. And when you hit shows, it will take you to Talking Shit, Getting Clicks, the YouTube page. And as you see, we are live right now. This show is called Breakfast, Trump's First 100 Days. And we're going to be talking about breakfast as a $1 billion hustle coming up. That's what we will be doing. Certainly. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me tell you something. What do y'all think about Saquon? No? Let's not do it? I agree. Let's not talk about Saquon, or we can talk about it in a little bit. I want to get through this, though. All right, I will go back to it. Me personally, Saquon Barkley, I am an Eagles fan. As you can see, I have my Eagles throw on, and it's not like it wasn't even intended. It was just a little chilly up in here because I had the air on, and actually it's nice and warm now, so I can break out of this. But my favorite player on the Philadelphia Eagles is not Saquon. It's not even Jalen Hurts. It's Smith. Really. It's old number 6. He's got the best hands and feet in the league right now. I like AJ too. I like Jalen Carter. I like all of our defensive line. Those are my guys. Saquon, love him. Appreciate his play. I think he's awesome. I hope he's with the team next year. But this one was an eye raise for me. And it's not too raising to me because it's not out of a norm for athletes or people of high status to, hang out and rub elbows with Donald Trump. People will talk about Donald Trump pre-election, how, rappers and athletes and celebrities love hanging around Donald Trump. I was just listening to Nas's New World, Welcome to the New World, New Beginning, that song. And he said the new Donald Trump is Bill Gates. And I should do a review of that song because it's a dope song. But that line right there is iffy for me with Nas. And the line it's iffy with me with Nas because Bill Gates was, at the time that song came out, the richest man in the United States of America. And I think Nas made that reference because it was a little lazy. And I would say that he might have made the choice that Donald Trump has more fame than the actual rich person of his days. Donald Trump has never been the richest person in the United States of America. So when, for that time, Roy Jones was like the top pound for pound boxer. And Roy Jones was taking the place of Mike Tyson, who was, the older school top rank pound for pound boxer. So you can see that compliment in his lyrics. However, when he says Don Trump is the new Bill Gates, no. Well, honestly, the richest man in the time that, he made this his rhyme, because since it was a new world, Bill Gates would be the new guy. So the guy before Bill Gates would be Sam Walton, the guy from Walmart. So I'm like, Nas could have actually made that lyric work, but I get it for entertainment purposes. It was cool to say that. And I think that it was the attitude of a lot of rappers. I don't think that, it was nice. Hey, I can come down to the plaza on a Wednesday night and get treated like royalty. But honestly, this really doesn't bother me as much. I do think, though, that for me, I'm putting my foot down. Like, I wouldn't have gone, like, they visited the White House, I wouldn't have gone and visited the White House. And this isn't a whole, both sides, and we could just be civil or respect the office. That's what Saquon tweeted to people who were having a problem with him going, respect the office. And a lot of the responses from people overwhelmingly is like, yo, what are you talking about? The man you're going to visit doesn't have any respect for the office. And I agree with that. Let me know if you disagree. That's who I want to talk to. If you disagree, if you think Donald Trump is good for office right now, as I am speaking these words, if you are hearing these words coming out of my mouth and you disagree with me, please call 313-825-5557. I would really love to just hear what's on your mind. It would amaze me. It would amaze me. But he is not a normal Republican president, like I said before. The Republican Party is not the Republican Party of old. Even the Democrats is in the Democratic Party of old. But this MAGA compared to the old Republican Party, this is extreme. This is extreme. So I can understand how people would be like, yo, I'm not gonna go over there and talk to him. And I have a less of an understanding for people who want to treat these times as just ordinary times and, it's the same office, the presidency. Like, this is something different here. This is a different piece of history that we are experiencing right now. And like I said, if you agree with me, let me know in the chat. If you don't, let me know in the chat or call in 313-825-5557. Ultimately, if we're going to have a conversation on this would be my biggest point I'm going to make. I seen when the Philadelphia Eagles they were been back and forth of whether they were going to go or if they weren't going to go. A lot of people didn't care. Some people did care about, hey, I wouldn't go, I would not go, or people would be like, hey, just respect the office. This is tradition. Respect the tradition, which when people be like, oh, it's tradition, not if it's if it's hurtful, if it's coming from a hurtful side or a hurtful angle. This is not the tradition we're going to stick to if it has become this. But yeah, some people didn't care, some people cared. My whole thing is this, because I've heard a lot of references to, hey, listen, Colin Kaepernick and whatever for football. A lot of people said anytime that politics or crime is brought up within the realm of sports, are saying that, hey, sports is just a release. We don't want to think about politics when we're watching the game. We don't want to. We're going to sports to escape from reality. And if you've ever said that, then you should understand. You should not even want any team to visit the presidency, because it's political. And you're wrong. Sports has always been political. And if you disagree with me, 313-825-5557. I'm throwing this out there. I might be banned with the shadow. But people, really, what I want to do is go on these eggs. That's what I want to do. I want to go on these eggs. I got to get on these eggs. It's pretty cool. It's a cracked egg, right? With, instead of just yolk, it's yolk that is dripping gold coins. And you probably thought that your omelet was just eggs and cheese. You would be wrong. Your omelet isn't just eggs and cheese or whatever spinach is in there. It's more than that. It turns out that your omelet is being seasoned with greed. That's right, greed. It's being seasoned with greed, and it is being scrambled with corruption. And then it's being plated and served up by a boardroom full of sharks. And they have turned your breakfast into a $1 billion hustle. Don't clap for that. All right, so while you stood in line debating whether $6.50 a dozen was worth it, Cal-Maine Foods, which is the largest egg producer in the United States, was taking a victory lap through a jacuzzi full of yolk to the tune of over $500 million in profits. That's $500 million in profits, and we're not talking about, this isn't over a 10-year span. This isn't even over a 5-year span. This, to be honest with you, this isn't even over a 1-year span. $508.5 million in just one quarter. One quarter. 1 quarter. Yo, if you guys do the math real quick, well, you can't do the math because you don't understand it, but I'm going to tell you, it's a 247% increase over the last year. 240% increase, and I'm talking about, it's for eggs. Eggs. It's not for AI. It's not for like lithium batteries. It's not for like turbines or engines or anything. We're paying this for eggs. Yeah. So you want to know who's cracking the whip behind the scenes? Well, I'll tell you. It's Sherman L. Miller. He's going to be the CEO of the cartel of Cal-Maine. Also, he's been climbing their well, I'll go back. Sherman Miller has been climbing the corporate coop since 1996. And now he runs the whole egg pyre. That's what we'll call it, egg pyre. He runs that whole egg pyre. And who, there is a guy above him. His name is Adolphus Dolph Baker. Now, you've seen the picture, but please, close your eyes. And in the picture, someone named Adolphus Baker. Adolphus Dolph Baker. That's what he looks like. And he's a board chairman. Yeah, that's his real name. It's not a deleted Succession character or a Bond villain. But Sherman's job, his job as CEO, as most CEOs' job, is to maximize shareholder value, and by that cold-blooded standard, he has crushed it. And I'm going to tell you why, and you're going to love it. I'm going to tell you why, and you'll be like, "Ooh, I promise you." But I gotta tell you, just because it's legal, don't mean it ain't foul, and I mean foul too with the W in it. Now, I know you were like, "Oh, Mo, 3 times, you're about to eviscerate him." But I gotta be fair. I'm gonna be honest because you gotta trust me on this. I wanna be trusted. I wanna be a trusted source of information. So I have to be a little precise with it. And I have to be fair. And to be fair, the egg market was rocked by a real crisis. There was an avian flu, right? And there was over 30 million birds that were killed, destroyed. And this has been the worst outbreak of this flu since 2015. But there's a plot twist because cow Maine, their flocks weren't even affected. Nope. Check this out. He was able to dodge the flu, and they still rode the panic wave straight to the bank. I mean, egg prices soared. Supply chains buckled. And Sherman, he followed the market straight into the history's greediest breakfast buffet. I'm keeping it real. Now, the DOJ's been circling because this whole thing smells less like a free market and more like an omelet cooked in the back room. The back room. Now, cow Maine wasn't alone. The price hike cartel already includes Rose Acres Farms, United Egg Producers, United States Egg Marketers, and a federal jury hit them with a $17.7 million fine for past price fixing. $17.7 million fine, but they're making over $500 million a quarter. Hey, that's not a punishment. It seems like a yacht getting a speeding ticket. A yacht getting a failure to signal ticket. All right, now, here's why this hits harder than you think. Eggs aren't some bougie brunch item. They are nutritional, lifetime, cheap, complete protein packed with essential vitamins. They show up in school lunches. They show up in snack and WIC programs. They show up in shelters and food pantries. Every damn baked good you've ever loved has eggs in it. Mine is chocolate cake. Now, when the prices skyrocketed, I know it ain't just annoying. It was devastating for low-income families. Eggs are often the last affordable protein left. For low-income families, eggs are often the last affordable protein left. So if you jack that up, you are potentially messing with someone's survival. Now, eggs are also the cornerstone of the U.S. food economy, as I just showed in previous examples. Did you know that there's over 100 billion eggs produced a year? Do you know that the Egg Manufacturing Association supports tens of thousands of jobs? Did you know that the egg industry feeds industrial baking? They feed restaurants, cafeterias, school systems, export markets. So when a few companies squeeze the entire supply, it's not just price gouging. That shit's economic sabotage. And the cherry on top of this crusty ass casserole, The same companies, including Cal-Maine, got federal relief money. That's right. These guys are making record profits, and yet they got handed millions in subsidies and aid. And it was handed out to stabilize the industry. So to recap, your tax dollars bailed them out. And they turned around and gouged your grocery bill. And now they're under investigation for price fixing. Yo, that's not capitalism. That's like publicly funded heist with executive bonuses, I think. So Sherman might say, hey, I was just doing my job. And legally, yeah, he was. Because I went there prematurely before. It's called fiduciary duty. And basically that means do whatever boosts shareholder profits. That's what that means. But let's be real. Say your business model depends on exploiting diseases, or say it depends on exploiting, draining public subsidies, or selling back basic food at triple the price. Would that not be business? Could we not call that extortion? Even if you have a lobbyist, can you not call that extortion? And then you get the $17.7 million fine. And that's, if you do the math, that's a 2.6% crime tax on a $500 million payday that comes quarterly. That's price fixing discount code to me. So, here's the yolk that matters. Eggs aren't optional. They are food security. And they're also economic signals. Because really, they're the last affordable protein standing between millions of Americans and hunger. So, when billionaires hoard that, you better believe it's personal. And before you get mad, don't get mad. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get organized. We're going to call our reps. We're going to support local farms. We're going to call our reps. And we're going to demand food pricing oversight. Call your local representatives, your congressional representatives in your district, and demand food pricing oversight. And the next time someone shrugs and says, oh, it's just a free market, you tell them the free market's a finessing scam, and Mo3 Time has the receipts. Go check a show. Yo, because honestly, at the end of the day, breakfast shouldn't feel like you're being handed a ransom note. And your fridge shouldn't be ground zero in a war of working people. The yoke should be on them. And next time, someone should get smacked with the skillet. Hot, cold, don't matter, as long as it has been oiled properly. All right? So, once again, that's what we do. Support your local farms, call your reps, and demand food pricing oversight. Demand it. Hurry up and do it, because your First Amendment constitutional stuff is on the way out. Please. More techno. Call in 313-825-5557. We live with Mo 3 Times. That's me. Your overpriced omelet isn't the result of random economics. Nope. This shit's engineered. It's engineered scarcity. And it's got a little side of not bacon, but corporate greed. Somehow they still expect you to thank them for the protein. That's crazy. Yeah. What's up? Do that. Yeah. Oh, man. Beautiful. Yo, we did. So what did we cover? All right. We had a theoretical brawl, a possible film. We talked about a political relapse. We had a photo op that we're still decoding, and breakfast conspiracy with yolk stained fingerprints all over it. And what did we learn? The strength without strategy is just noise. That power once reclaimed rarely returns softer. And that everyone who smiles is your friend. Well, maybe. I don't think so. I think that not everyone who smiles is your friend. And not everyone who profits is pretending. We unpacked the quiet deals, the loud distraction, the policies dressed as theater, and a theater dressed like it's about to pass a bill that's ruin your Tuesday. But this isn't about outrage. I know I raised my voice. It's about understanding, because once you see that pattern, once you connect the overpriced eggs to the underpriced leadership, you can't unsee it. And why should you? Hell, I don't think you should. So you sit with what I was been telling you. You sit with it. You can yell into the void. You can hit me in the comments. You can call in. But please, if you don't mind, do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. And I will see you next time on the Wee episodes. Wee episodes with Mo 3 times. Talking shit. Getting clicks. All right. Everybody, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. Jump Out Gang.
Many people know them as the JumpOut boys in their city.
Thanks for showing up. Yo, Mainline called in like I gotta talk to him forever. And he called in. That was awesome. But yeah, this was our show tonight. Yo, man can be gorilla. That's what we're saying. Man can do it. Sinners, watch it so we can really talk about it. I don't just have to ramble about it. We talked about Trump's first 100 days in office. Yo, we talked about a little bit about Saquon going to spend a day with President Trump. And man, the egg conspiracy breakfast, bro. Breakfast is $1 billion hustle. I'm Mo 3 times. Click like, share, subscribe, hit the alerts, tell a friend and tell a friend, tell a friend. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Check out my interviews that usually drop on, speaking of, you know what? I forgot that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what I just did. The numbers aren't great on it, but that's okay because, we're a small channel. That's cool. I just did a video right here, and I did a video with Liverpool's very own Richie Billing. So Richie Billing is he's from Great Britain. He's an author. He's written a book called Pariah's Lament, also a book called Together We Rise. I do admit that I hadn't read the books before I interviewed him. It was a great interview. He talks about fantasy books. So if you're into fantasy books, you're going to love it. But we also talked about other things. He gave me a couple insights that I wasn't aware of. He's a man, or he's on the other side of the Atlantic, so he has a little bit more access to Europe and the countries connected to it. So he was just giving a lot of good information. It was a pretty good lighthearted and down to earth conversation. It's really not that long. I think it's definitely under an hour of interview time. So I don't want this one to be slept on. I really don't want to be slept on. People who have watched it said that they really enjoyed watching it, and it's really like my first interview that I've done in a grip. So it was quite scary, but we labored through it. We got through it, and it is also edited, so it should flow pretty smoothly, better than what we do live here. When you're watching me live, without being able to, chop up my uhs and ahs and all the crazy stuff that I say. I can't take it back on live. Oh man, flashbacks here.
Ain't nothing.
It's crazy because we're getting out of here, Flash. But go ahead. Don't worry. Like, share, subscribe. Once again, 7:30 Wednesdays. Check out Richie Billing. Once again, did an interview with him. You can just go to the site. It's not on live. It's in the videos. And what else do I got? I don't know. I will see you guys next week. I know this world ain't going to stop spinning yet, so I'll be there telling you a little bit about it. And I can't wait to do that. Thank you, guys. Talking shit, getting clean.
Ain't nothing.
Don't argue.